This is just a short video to show you how to use rule-based symbology in QGIS in order to give different styles to different symbols. I'm going to work on a point style file here, but this works for pretty much any of the kinds of files. It works for lines and polygons also. Here is a file. You'll notice I have this labeled. I'm going to go in and turn those off because that was me making mistakes early on. I'm going to no labels. And so when you enter points, this is what you usually see. And what I'm going to start doing in the easiest way to create styles with lots of different options is to enter some points with some of your options to start off with. And so I'm going to click and create a new symbol. I just have gone to a map where I have nothing else going on to make it easy. And the key fields for what I'm working on right now is feature type. You'll notice I've misspelled that as reacher type, but I'm going to call this foliation. That's one of the kinds of things we look at. I'm going to make another one that I'm going to call fracture. And I have already created these 2 points. One I called bedding and one I called faults. These are pretty much the different kinds of features that I'm looking to identify geologically. Once I've done that, I'm going to save my data. And you notice I have the pencil open for editing. Remember, you have to do that to add points. Now I'm going to go in and double click on my data file. The important screen is this one called symbology. You'll use this a ton if you work in QGIS a lot. And what I'm going to do is go from single symbol up here at the top to rule-based. This lets you set lots of different rules for different features. And I'm going to add a rule, and this will be the rule I use for bedding. I'm going to use the equation symbol here to add a rule. That lets you add a rule. If you didn't see where I do it, I'm going to cancel back. Here you have label. I'm going to label this bedding. And below that you have filter. On the right side is a little weird E thing that's for equation, and that's what you click. Then I'm going into fields and values. It's about the 6th or 7th thing down. And I click on that, and it opens up the fields that are in this particular data set that I created. I went into the attribute table and added different types of fields. And I'm going to go to my reacher type, and I'm going to double click on it. And you'll see what that does is opens up a correctly formatted, in the upper left here, it's in green. A little hard to see because it's light. But that is the correctly formatted way of identifying a field in QGIS. And now I want to identify which factor will give me my symbol. So I'm going to click All Unique. And now it opens up the features I've identified: fracture, foliation, fault, bedding. You can see I accidentally capitalized fracture one time I did it. So now I have feature type equals bedding, and I click OK, and that now will appear as a rule in my database. I'm going to add another rule for faults. So I'm just going to come up here, click my symbol, go over to fields and values. You can see it opened up. Reacher types, all unique, fault. And I just have to add the equals in between. So the rule now is feature type equals fault, and then I can click OK. Now I have different colors for each kind of feature. I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to call that else. So anything that doesn't follow those rules will be yet this other color. I'm going to get rid of the no filter. There. And let's take a look. We'll apply and come back. And you see now we have different colors for each of these features. Now in geology, we have to often apply SVG symbology to this. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to go in, I'm double clicking. You see now I just double clicked on the marker. You could also double click on where it says test data, and it would pop up the whole screen. I did that because I wanted to add my fault, I'm going to do it lowercase, fault label for my other one because I forgot that, and I'm going to add, double click there, else, or no label, no feature. Okay, so now I have my 3 types of things that I'm categorizing. I'm going to double click on bedding, and it opens up this screen here. And I'm going to go through and change simple marker to SVG marker. I'm going to change the size from 2 to 6 because SVG markers print small. I'm going to go down here. QGIS has a bunch of built-in SVG markers, but I've created my own already. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to not right click, I'm going to click on the little dots to the right down there at the bottom, and I have a folder that I've created called geology symbols. And here it is here, geology symbols. I go in there. You can have your own folders with your own symbols. These are just ones I've created to make working in geology easy for me. And then we do open, and we can now see our feature. And I do OK. I'm going to do the same for fault. Double click, not equation. Go to the simple marker, change that to an SVG marker. I'm going to change the size to 6. I'm doing this twice to make things easy. Go down to the bottom. Have to go down to the bottom on both scroll bars. And I'm going to pick fault. There's fault. Double click. There it is. OK. And you can see I have now 2 SVG markers and then a green dot. I'm going to make it a black dot just by changing the color for if I forgot to put something in. And apply, OK, and you can now see the resulting thing. The only thing we might want to do for this material is I'm going to double click. We're going to label the dips because that's something we do in geology, and I'm just going to do single labels, and I'm going to label by the dip field, apply, OK, and there it is. You can see I have my dips now labeled, and I'm going to rotate these symbols based on the field called strike. So I go back to symbology, I click on the symbol itself, double click, and here, and then I go to where it says SVG marker. I go down to the bottom, and you can see where it says rotation down near the bottom here. Go across to the menu symbol on the right. The data defined override is what they call it. Go to field type. I don't know why they call it field type, instead of field. And I just go over to strike, and you see that's now yellow. Okay. I have to repeat that with fault. Click on the SVG marker, go down, rotation, field type, here, get rid of that. Here. Field type, variable, no, field type, strike, OK, apply, and then OK. And you now see those symbols are no longer vertical, they're now rotated to follow the field I wanted them to. Thank you very much. I'll probably follow these up with some other simple videos.